One of my favorite movies of the past year is a documentary called The Social Dilemma. The movie notes the negative effects of social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and even Google. These outlets make their money through ads. The more people spend time on their application, the more ad companies see that the application is a profitable platform to advertise their products. So the game is to keep you on the application for long periods of time. And they do this by curtailing their recommended content to your liking. The more you use it, the more your internet becomes smaller and smaller, only fixated on what you like. So, for example, if you go on my YouTube feed, you'll just see baking videos. And it's no longer about YouTube and what I can view on YouTube, it's about me and my baking videos. It's no longer the World Wide Web, it's about me. Pretty soon, our world becomes more and more about me. Our internet world becomes more and more about me. I don't see other people's different viewpoints or anything that challenges me. If I do, it's to antagonize the other party, to make them the villain. They're the ones who are stupid. They're the ones who are dumb. They're the ones who are out of their mind. Today's gospel shows us the difficulty of stepping outside of our own world. It's hard for many people to believe in Jesus. Biblical scholar S.H. Smith, he notes that the Gospel of Mark depicts two sides, those inside Jesus' circle and those outside. Those who believe in Jesus are inside, and those who do not are outside. However, in today's gospel, we see that the ones you would think would be inside the circle are not. His relatives aren't even inside of the circle. St. Jerome says, in the gospel we read that even his own kinsfolk desired to bind him as one of weak mind. They thought he was out of his mind. See, the problem was Jesus was too provocative. He challenged the world too much. At this time, the people had an established way of thinking, of living their lives. You don't touch the sick. You don't acknowledge someone outside of your class. And you view God as a triumphant, royal figure high above us. Jesus changed all of that. He showed that God heals the sick, God cares for each and every person, whatever socioeconomic background, and God walks with us. One biblical commentator says, many people prefer to maintain the traditional patterns in personal, family, or social life, rather than make radical changes that might bring greater health or happiness. Today we are called to ask a question of ourselves. Do we accept the challenges to our way of life, or do we fight? What we always do is fight. We question another person. We say, how dare you say that to us? You're wrong, I'm right. And we do this by manipulating stories from the past. We will create facts, or we will twist an argument in every sort of direction so that we are right. I listen to a lot of Brene Brown podcasts, and Brene Brown is this famous researcher. Paul loves her too, and she wrote many books on shame and vulnerability. And she herself, a famous prolific figure in our culture today, admits to this manipulation. She says, I think the worst I have ever felt about myself is when I'm winning an argument and I know that I'm lying. I will make the other person question what they saw or heard or said just so I could win. Why does she do that? Why do we do that? We do that because we don't want to face the hard question. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? Jesus' opponents did not want to face that question. And those close to Jesus, his relatives, didn't want to face that question either. They heard something so far removed from their reality, and instead of questioning the way they lived or trying to understand why they lived the way they do, they just dismiss him as out of his mind. How do we deal with this? Bishop Barron speaks about clearing the path for God. He uses the image of a helicopter. The pilot of a helicopter will continue to find an area that is clear so that the pilot can land the helicopter. God is trying to find a clear area within us. So what is cluttering up our land? It's not just our iPhone or our busy schedules or our assignments, but our ego. Anything holding on to, I'm right, you're wrong. Brothers and sisters, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about what God says and how God directs us. Later on in the Gospel of Mark, we see Jesus saying, "For whoever does the will of God is my brother and sister and mother." It is not about being right. It's just about doing God's will. We got to take that out of our mindset. So when we stop thinking about manipulating situations so that I'm right and everyone else is wrong, or that person is crazy, or that person is out of his mind, and when we focus more on where is God moving me, that's where we have a clear landing.